Namaste. Well, I just have to make one more video on this subject before I can let it go, because I want to make sure you got it. This chart, this is the revised version. Take a good look at it. Is derived from verse 83 of Guru Vachaka Kovai. And the notes by Sadhu Om on that verse are very, very important. Because why? He gives these 5 views. And the darshanams are the basis of the Vadas, which is the teachings and practices. So a mature sadhu, a tivra adhikari, has mastered all these truths and practices and realizations that go with them. So, of course, an atitivra adhikari is beyond all of this. So we can't say anything about them because their position is inexplicable. And also, an atitivra adhikari will never claim to be one because the very idea is absurd. He'll usually present himself as a tivra adhikari. Now, what is a tivra adhikari? It's someone who has mastered all the previous levels, right? That's elementary. But what's not so obvious is that he continues to practice all the levels simultaneously. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I don't know if I emphasized it enough. I don't think it can be emphasized too much. So a really mature sadhu is going to be practicing karma yoga, bhakti yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga simultaneously in his life. That doesn't mean like all at once, like juggling 4 balls, no. It means that, well, let me give you the example from my life, okay? I do karma yoga. What do I do? Every day I feed a cow, I feed a beggar, and every month I give a substantial fraction of my income to a charity that takes care of widows, old men, and students who are too poor to afford school and clothes and equipment and stuff like that. So that pays for their studies. Okay, why do I do this? Because without karma yoga, you will fall down. If you're selfish, if you're greedy, if you're just out for yourself, you can't rise to the higher levels. In fact, you haven't even mastered the first level. And that's the condition I see most people in. They're only out for themselves. It's all about me and what I want. And that's ego, folks. That's ignorance. And there's karma attached to it, which will close the doors to the higher levels. So you should feed the cows, feed the animals, protect the trees and plants. I'm also donating to a charity that plants trees. But we need lots and lots of trees in South India because of climate change. And I give every time I can to the poor people. I give them, take them out to a restaurant. Not a fancy one, but still with good food. And so I spend 20 or 30 rupees and I get so much benefit from that. That supports my other practices. And what are they? Well, bhakti. I have Guru Bhakti for Ramana and Chandrasekharendra. And I have Bhagavan Bhakti for Narasingha and Ganesh. And soon I'm going to be redoing my altar, adding all these other pictures of Devi, amal, and then there's the bhakti toward the self, ananya bhakti. Okay, these are all bhakti practices, and I've given a little hint in the Spiritual Nourishment series how to do these different practices, and I do them all the time. But mostly I've internalized them. And that's the aim of the whole thing. Then you go to the next level, which is Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga is what we commonly call meditation. But what it means basically is getting rid of the mind, getting rid of ego, desire, the sensation or desire to be the doer and the recipient of the results of your actions. Okay. Now all of these categories kind of blur into one another. There's no sharp boundaries between them. So you'll find in descriptions of karma yoga, for example, already the concept that one should give up the results of one's activities. That, in other words, I am not the doer. I have a duty to perform my prescribed activities, but I am not entitled to the result, according to Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Okay, this is basic stuff. If you haven't realized this, you will have no access to actual meditation. Yeah, you can sit there in half lotus posture and pretend. Huh? Meanwhile, the mind is jumping around like a monkey all over the universe. Come on, it's phony. And why is it phony? Because you're practicing beyond your reach, beyond your means. You're attempting something that you have no foundation for, no qualification for, no adhikari. See? The adhikar means qualification. You cannot go through the gate of the higher practices into the higher realms. There's guards. They'll stop you. And they're in your own mind. Your own desires, your own thoughts will stop you. And the karma that you create by this acting in this mindset will also stop you. You cannot do Raja Yoga if you're thinking, I am the doer, I am the meditator, I am becoming enlightened. These are all desires. These are all efforts. These are all doing. And there has to be a doer. But when it just happens, or when the guru instructs, sit down and meditate. See, that's your adhikar. That's your qualification. And he won't give that instruction, if he's a real guru, until you're ready. So all these people paying big bucks to go to these different seminars and retreats, and they haven't given a dime in charity. They haven't given the result of their work, for example, to the world, as I'm doing in these videos. Just want to call that out. Everything you learn here, you should share with others. Don't just hoard it to yourself, thinking, oh, I'm so smart. No, that's dumb. It's dumb to think you're smart. It's smart to think you're dumb. Because then you're open to advice. You're open to good information. So take advantage. Spread this knowledge to others. And not only they'll get the benefit, you'll get double, triple the benefits. Because you're not greedy and you're not selfish and you're not egotistical. So all these practices, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and Raja Yoga, should be practiced by the mature devotee, the tivra adhikari, the ripe soul, like a ripe fruit, which is ready to fall. And we're just waiting for the right breeze to come along. And that's usually the association of a realized soul. For me, it was association with Arunachala. As soon as I came to Tiruvannamalai, I was just so deeply connected with Arunachala, like my father, my guru. And so he has been protecting me and guiding me all this time. Of course, I listen for his messages, because remember the last video, the conclusion is that the world is real when it's seen as an appearance in Brahman. So the Tivra Adhikari knows this, and the Ati Tivra Adhikari sees it directly. And both of them are always listening for signs. There's a Shastra, I forget the name of it right now, but there's a Shastra that describes all these signs. Just like when I went for astrology reading, this is so funny, this story. There's a temple not too far away from here where they keep all these ancient palm leaves. And these were written like hundreds or thousands of years ago. And when you come in there, you walk in the door, and they don't even say anything. They just look out behind you to see what the birds and animals are doing, and what's the sky doing, and what's the wind doing, because these are all signs. And then they don't say anything. They don't ask you anything. The real guys who really know how to do this, they go in the back room and they come out with a palm leaf. And on this leaf is written your name, your parents' names, and a history of your life, including the future. Yep, it's real. How do they know? Because they can read the signs. So this reading of signs is a deep communication between Ishvara and Jiva, between God and the individual. Okay? On the level of the world, the individual is also real. So if the world is real, even though it's only an appearance, a mirage, then the individual is real in the same way, and so is God. This is why the highest level of spontaneous bhakti is creative, original. Each devotee has a unique and special connection with God, and a specific service or pastime that only that devotee can offer to the Lord. Each of us is created unique and special by God for the purpose of offering Him a particular service. And that service cannot be offered by anybody else. You have to discover what that is. It has to be revealed to you, and you have to deserve it. These are all the things, you see, that people don't understand about the path. And they try to fabricate. Oh yeah, I'm ready for enlightenment. Oh yeah, I'm protected by Ramana. Of course, they don't follow his instructions, and so on and so on and so on. But the ego likes to claim these things, see, without any real qualification. Like my Adi Guru always used to say, deserve, then desire. Don't desire something that you're not qualified for. Don't attempt to do some yoga that you don't have a foundation for. Don't try to claim that you're on a level that you don't have the adhikari for. Okay? You'll know, or it will be revealed or given to you. And it'll be so obvious, you can't avoid it, you can't deny it. In fact, if you're really surrendered, that God will take over your life and guide you in the way and give you everything you need. Not that you have to do anything. You're just along for the ride. The only thing you can do is to see the reality as it is. And that includes all these levels and all these functions of spiritual life. Aung Tat Sat. Aung Harihi Aung.